Hey y'all, man, look. Jermell Charlo and Tony Harrison are back at it again. And on everything I love. I would love to see a third fight. I really would love to see a third fight now because ain't no love lost between these two dudes at all. They really, really do not like each other. They might really hate each other for real on the lowest of low or the highest of high. I'm sorry. They might really hate each other. I'm for real. They gonna be 50 years old and see each other on the way to get their colonoscopy. They in the same doctor's office and be fighting and yelling, want to argue back and forth, talking shit to each other in front of their dang on kids and grandkids. It's gonna get to that point because they just the bad blood between these two is gonna be always there. So Tony Harrison goes on Instagram and he basically complains and he argues that Jermell Charlo violated a rule that was stipulating that all water during the fight must come from a clear container. And during the fight, Jermell Charlo had a clear water bottle, but he also had green Gatorade bottles as well. And so Tony Harrison, like, hold on. He expressed his disappointment with the California State Athletic Commission, and he like, hold on, I can't believe they would let this happen. I can't believe they would let something like this occur. This is a violation, so on and so forth. And a lot of people were thinking he was alluding to the fact that he thought that Jermell Charlo was cheating. He like, I don't know, and he like, I didn't say that, but we all know he was basically trying to say that Jermell could have been cheating during a fight. So Jermell gets on Twitter and Jermell get the on Instagram, and he get the going off under his picture, get the snapping on him, and I'm looking like, damn. I'm rubbing my hands like Birdman. I'm like, look, this third fight needs to go down for real, especially due to the fact that it was like this. One fighter has won a fight apiece, and a third fight, I just feel like it's gonna be some extra drama with this one. But it came back that the California State Athletic Commission found no wrongdoing on Charlo's part because they felt that they said they checked these bottles, they inspected these bottles beforehand, and they ruled that the use of the green water bottles were fine. Right? They found that they were fine. So Jermell Charlo would not be punished for this, right? Because a lot of people was looking like, well, I mean, if he passed VADA, it's cool. But I will say this. Even he could pass VADA, but it could have been like some caffeine in that bottle, a pre-workout, could have been some saline solution or whatever, something to give him some type of energy boost where he wouldn't get fatigued during a fight. But that is not the case because the California State Athletic Commission has ruled that they checked the bottles beforehand. It was water, and it was fine, and it was acceptable, right? But, like, for real, Tony Harrison coming out with this. Now, it could have been, he wasn't wrong in pointing out this. He wasn't wrong to point out this at all. I don't feel like he was at fault at all, and I feel like he was perfectly just to do that. However, I still feel like Tony is trying to cling on to a way to say, he's trying to cling on to a reason why he lost the fight other than the fact that he lost the fight. Like, I really do feel like Tony is embarrassed that he did all that talk and he did all that talking crazy and he was able to get stopped in that fight. And I feel like he is trying to cling on to a way to garner a third fight to avenge himself and to say, I only lost this fight because this guy possibly could have been using some illegal substances or violating the rules in some type of way. Truth be told, Tony Harrison was beating Jermell Charlo. He was beating Jermell. He was outboxing Jermell the whole fight. His problem was he tried to hook with a hooker and he got dropped. And Charlo had power that Tony could not take. Like, truth be told, I didn't agree with the last stoppage, the stoppage on that last flurry. But that second flurry where he dropped, I said, yeah, it could have been stopped right there. It could have been stopped at that point because it looked ugly. Tony Harrison was taking every shot Jermell was throwing him. That's when Tony was like this. Like, he was getting hit like his head was turning every which way, getting his head knocked down, up, down. Like, it was like, damn, Tony. Like, for real, he was getting hit with everything but the kitchen sink. But that third little flurry that he had, and then the ref stopped it then, I didn't agree with that. But it should have been stopped on that second flurry because I was like, Tony looked out of it. His whole face looked disoriented at that point. But he still went on to fight. But truth be told, Tony Harrison should be at fault for losing that fight because he tried to hook with a hooker and he got hit. And some people feel like he was showboating too much, and his showboating and overconfidence or cockiness led to his downfall in that fight. Because again, he was doing some great things in that fight. Like, he was winning the fight to me. Jermell won his rounds for sure too, but Tony Harrison, he showed me some stuff I ain't know he had. For real. Like, he was doing great until he tried to, until he was getting hit with the wrong shots. He's getting put down. And I think that Jermell's power and work rate may be a problem for Tony. Jermell was very, very active. Even though he was getting hit with some shots and he was getting outboxed at points in that fight, for sure, he still kept coming. He was relentless. And his relentlessness, like I was talking about with Deontay Wilder, even though Jermell was getting bested at times, for sure, and he was getting hit, countered, he was getting the hell counted out of him at sometimes. He still kept coming. He didn't let that deter him. He didn't let that knock him off the, oh my God, I'm going to just stop throwing, because he was feeling like, he didn't get okay, let me be patient because he's countering me too much. Or no, he kept up his work rate and he was able to touch Tony and got Tony down. So it is what it is. But Tony should only blame Tony for losing that fight. Like, for real. I think with him going to Instagram and pointing that out, he was not wrong in doing that. He was just in doing that. He had every reason to do it. I mean, he was perfectly fine for him to do that. But I think he was really trying to find a way for him to say why. He was trying to find an excuse as to why he lost that fight. And I think he's also trying to get a third fight to avenge that loss. I would love to see a third fight, for real, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I think unless I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think Jermell really, unless he really just tired of Tony and really want to put on another show, he knows that was not an easy fight. That was not an easy fight for him at all. He needed to he needed those knockdowns that he had, and he needed to get Tony up out of there, for sure. Because Tony was not, he wasn't slowing down as far as, Tony's timing was perfect, and his counterpunching was perfect. He was going to the body on Charlo. He put on a great show, but at the end of the day, Charlo's work rate overcame all of that, and he was hitting him. And Tony is a little chinny, man. He's chinny, and Jermell know that. But Jermell know it was a tough fight, so I don't know if that third fight gonna happen. But I would love to see it, for sure. I would definitely love to see it. Now, a lot of people were calling Charlo. This is another thing. This is one thing I noticed, man. People hate Jermell Charlo. They hate him with a passion. They feel like he's too arrogant. They just feel like he thinks too highly of himself. They feel like he's overrated, so on and so forth. They hate him. So they were looking for every reason to say, oh, Charlo cheated. He cheated. Get him out of here. Look, man, you got to give credit where credit is due. Charlo stayed composed and got a guy up out of there that was outboxing him. Even though he was getting outboxed, he still stuck to his guns and was able to hurt a guy, and he was able to get the knockdowns that he needed to get to win the fight. It is what it is. Even if you didn't agree with the stoppage at the last flurry, that second flurry was that should have been all she wrote, especially with the deaths that we've seen in boxing recently. So I see people trying to discredit Jermell in every way, and yeah, Jermell was getting outboxed, but he got the stoppages. He got the knockdowns. He won crucial moments in that fight, for sure. And he never stopped coming. And you got to salute a guy's resiliency. A guy's resiliency and a guy's ability to stick to the game plan even when things are not going in his favor. You got to respect that. You got to. But people don't want to respect it because it's Charlo, and I know how hated the Charlo brothers are. People despise them. They hate them boys with a passion, and they waiting for the day that a lot of them don't like Jermell, even though Jermell is a lot more calmer than Jermell. He's a lot more easygoing, even though he can be intense on fight time, and he definitely can be all with all the bullshit for sure. But he's a lot more calm and collected than Jermell. People waiting for Jermell to lose. People waiting for Jermell to lose. They were hoping and praying that Jermell was going to lose to Tony. For real. They were hoping and praying for it. So, but people can't let their dislike for Jermell take away from what he did. They can't let that take away from the fact that he did what he's supposed to do in that fight. He wasn't boxing the best, but he got the stoppage. And he was hurting Tony. Clearly, he was hurting Tony. You saw what I saw. Even if you didn't agree with the last stoppage, you saw what I saw. He was hurting Tony. Tony was chinny. Tony was got a little too overconfident at times. He got rocked. That second, oh my, that damn second flurry was, I'm like, woo. That shit was, I said, oh my God. I don't know. But yeah, man, y'all gotta stop letting y'all hate for the Charlos getting you so emotional to where you act as if like Tony wasn't getting hurt at all. Like people trying to act like Tony was just like, nah, Tony was in complete control of the fight. Yeah, he was outboxing Charlo, but he was getting hit, and them hits were affecting him. Period. But I just feel like, man, these dudes gonna be, I promise y'all, they might be in a retirement home, old folks home. They see each other in their wheelchair, and they gonna be going at it like Claude and Ray on Life when they was mad at each other. Well, these dudes were never friends in the first place. But the stuff that was said for the build-up for that second fight, and stuff that's been said now, this shit bad, man. Again, I think Tony just was trying to cling on to a reason why he lost that first fight, because my man's came in at Detroit down with the Lions gear on and the buffs, and he felt like he supposed to come out there victorious. He was talking cash, and he lost the fight. It is what it is, man. Machiavelli Mills TV. Peace.